I'm doing good. Offensively, one of our better days we've had in a while. So those guys were flying around, throwing it around pretty good. Looked a little bit fresh and caught the ball and did some good things. Just an okay day defensively, but wasn't terrible. But got some new things and just working through some situations. So overall, pretty decent day.
How did Max do?
Max did good. He did good.
Got the fastball back?
Yeah, they were more efficient, you know, when we went good against good, throwing the ball around than they have been for a few weeks. So I thought it was a pretty good day. Max was pretty good.
You mentioned pitch count for him. How limited did you guys keep?
You know what? To be totally honest, I'd have to ask Jim Madaleno, but we are limiting his reps, and Jim's handling that with Neil. So, but when we were going good on good again, I didn't notice which quarterback was in there. They were both throwing pretty good. They were moving too fast for me to notice. So.
Is that improving? I mean, do you see those guys picking up that every week, that tempo?
Yeah, they do. And when we go good against good, we do slow it down a little bit because we got to work on technique on our side of the ball as well. So we need to make sure we get lined up and get better. And so I make them slow it down at times against us.
What have you guys done for Driscoll and then to have it kind of thrown at you?
Like I said, their offense really won't change much. They have that with Driscoll. They have the Q run game built into their offense. So we worked it last week. I'm sure they'll have some different packages and build on it a little bit more. Hopefully it'll be something. I don't know if it could be anything that we haven't seen before. They do some creative things that we all have rules to that we have to apply to. They may build in some wildcat packages and things like that. So we'll be, we're working all that.
Their offensive coordinator said, I think today, that he expects you guys to spy the quarterback a little bit to limit his running. In your experience, when a coach comes out and says that early in a game week, is that in some ways posturing, hoping, expecting you to hear it and not want to do it?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, it could be. But we'll do what we do. They've seen us do a lot of things over the years, and we're constantly, I've talked about it, I've made it no secret, we're trying to build on things. We've been building on things here the last 2-3 weeks and done some different things, and we're going to continue to do that.
Is Cody a difference maker now that
he
he's
helps?
Healthy?
He helps. Like I said, he really helped us in some of our packages on third down. He really helped us in the last game, and that's something we have missed.
The defense going against Whitlow in practice, how much will that help against a run quarterback?
A little bit, yeah, it does. We run some plays that carry over, and it's good to see that in fastball. Yeah.
When you're a new quarterback, and you guys have shown so many different looks, especially with your line formations, is that something that you're going to want to do again, just to kind of confuse him in the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I'm sure. We need to continue to build, like I said, and do some different things. We have a lot of respect for them. They're a good, well-coached team, very physical team, and so we're always trying to be creative and find new ways to mix it up.
Mark, just in your experience, how much of an advantage is it when you have a coach on the staff that's as familiar with the other team's personnel as Joker probably is with this team?
I guess it could help in certain ways, but I think we're a different team, so I'm not really worried about that.
Joker have any kind of relationship? Did you speak to him? Did he reach out to you after you accepted the job, anything like that?
I called Joker at some point after I had the job. I'm not sure how long I was here, but I called Joker just to say hello and touch base with him and talk with him a little bit. I do not know Joker very well. I know of him, just say hi and talk to him a little bit. So we had a good conversation. No, keep that between he and I. But it was a good conversation, and he was very good and supportive, and had a lot of good things to say about Kentucky.
When you look at this and see a game like Williams and Alabama, do you think defenses are kind of at a disadvantage when you have the kind of offenses like Texas A&M?
I think any of these offenses are very difficult in their own way, and if you asked me specifically about that game, I thought they were two different offenses, but both very difficult to stop. Does that make sense? A&M was, with their fast pace and running and gunning, and with the quarterback making plays all over the field. And then you watch Alabama and how well coached they are and how physical they are, and their quarterback making plays in different ways. I mean, I thought both teams were outstanding. So I do think it's very tough on defenses, especially when you have a lot of skill.
Does it mean you have to kind of bring in more young players to kind of keep up with the pace?
You definitely do. You have to have good players out there, and this league is unique in a lot of ways because they're so big and physical at times, and yet spread out and skilled at times as well. So it puts you in a bind, that's for sure.
You talked a little bit about this the other day, just about how good they are defensively.
Pardon me?
You talked a little bit about this yesterday, about just how good they are defensively, front end and in the secondary. I know you probably recruited a lot of those guys. I mean, talent-wise, seems like they're pretty well off the charts to get all the way into the 2D.
They really are. They're very good players, across the board. Yeah, I know a lot of those guys. A couple of them were committed to us. A couple of them were at Florida State and went to junior college and ended up back at Florida. But very good players. I know that the type of pride they have, the type of energy they play with, the confidence that they play with, and you can see it on film. They're playing very fast right now. They're a confident group. They're playing very physical and very fast. So and that you wouldn't expect anything else from Will, from Will Muschamp and DJ Durkin and the way they coach and the way they play. And to me as a defensive guy, that's a great compliment to them because they play tough and they play fast and they play confident. And that's fun to watch.
When you look at all that, are you thinking this is exactly where we need to be?
Absolutely. It's a group that reminds me, their style was different than I did it a year ago, but the group seems very similar to the group I just left. Very dominant up front and very good in the secondary.
In terms of
and listen, I'm saying that just because I think they're off the charts. I mean, they're good everywhere. I mean, their linebackers are good. They're good across the board. But I think that there's so many good DBs that can cover them, and so explosive up front and so disruptive that it just makes it very tough.
Throughout their roster, they seem to have quite a few redshirt juniors and seniors.
Pardon me?
Throughout their roster, they seem to have a lot of redshirt juniors and seniors. The ideal places where you'd like to get your team?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it is. I think they have a good mix because they do have some young talent that is playing very well for them, but they're blended in with that experience that you're talking about. So, yes, I think that's ultimately where all of us would like to be. I think we're all in a situation where we're all going to have to play some young guys. You would just like to sprinkle them in instead of having to be your feature guys.
Okay, last one, folks.
Pardon me?
How much do you sit down with Neil in his rooms and say, he said he's picked your brain from time to time as far as trying to take apart a defense.
Yeah.
How much can you help him, do you think, in a game like this?
I could help him, here and there, but I'm most useful in the defensive room, and that's where I am. I get bored. I go in there with the offensive guys, but I get bored very quickly. but I say that, but it was actually a lot of fun. I said, this is what you guys do. You just sit up here and try to torment all of our defensive guys. Anybody could draw up some fancy play in the dirt, but then you got to go execute it, and that's the difference, and that's what the great teams do. So.
All right, folks. I'm sorry, Coach. Thank you very much.
Okay.